With a new console generation coming, there are just a lot of changes, a lot of little new things to just how things are going to work, how games are sold, and all the features and whatnot. And there's a good amount of misinformation or rather wrongly interpreted information going around. And I think a lot of this is on Nintendo for just not really being super clear about a lot of it, not taking the time to just make sure that these rumors are dispelled when appropriate. And there's just such a flood of information after the Switch 2 Direct. So, I read the comments when we heard that Mario Kart World was going to be $80 for a little while. Everyone's like, oh, all of the games are going to be $80. When Nintendo talks about the idea of game key cards, about how some developers, not even necessarily Nintendo, are just not even going to have the game or only some of the game on the card and the rest is a download code. Well, now you're seeing people being like, did you know that none of the Switch 2 games are even going to be on the cards? You know what I mean? And so the latest thing going around is the idea that Switch 2 games aren't going to support cloud saves, because on the Nintendo website, it mentions that for some reason, nobody has been able to divine yet, Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 Edition will not support cloud saves. This, of course, has led to a great flood of people that I've seen claiming that no Switch 2 games are going to support cloud saves, but it's another thing where we really do have to just take a step back and see what happens, because this whole situation it's very strange. It seems that it could be official that Tears of the Kingdom won't support cloud saves, which again, why? No, I mean, it does on the Switch 1. Basically, every game does on the Switch 1. And if we're going to be you transfer your save file over to the Switch 2 edition, and then it loses the ability to access cloud saves, even if you are still an NSO subscriber, it is very strange. I cannot think of any reason why this game in particular would not support cloud saves. It doesn't really make sense. It's not even like a competitive game. Even if you could somehow use it to cheat or something, what does it matter? It's not even multiplayer. So we don't know. And then there's even more information that muddies the whole thing even further. But if anything, that just makes me even more inclined to just take a step back and reserve judgment for later, because it seems that the website also claims that Donkey Kong Bonanza won't support cloud saves, and that makes even less sense. At least with Tears of the Kingdom, you could argue, you could imagine maybe there's just something I'm not getting, something between transferring save data over, something about these particular games, I don't know, but DK Bonanza, that's a Switch 2 exclusive. It's a single-player Switch 2 exclusive. There is no reason why that wouldn't support cloud saves. And it seems that it's also mentioned Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Party Jamboree. However, some of these notices have since been removed, and additionally, most of them can only be found on the European and North American listings, but not on the others, and not on the Japanese website. So do you see what I mean? It is weird to have some of this information on an official Nintendo website, but there's something is up. Something is weird, because we're getting inconsistent information between regions, and then even within a region, we're getting these notices that are then later taken down. So it's possible that there has been some mistake somewhere, but at the same time, it is weird, why is Nintendo not fixing this mistake? I mean, there's articles going up about it, we're all talking about it. Hey, Nintendo, is anyone there listening to this right now? There's something weird going on with the whole cloud saves thing, and we're really looking for clarification. And I don't know, maybe even by the time this video goes up, they will say something. Because it's strange. There really is no reason why they wouldn't include cloud saves with really any given game at all. Again, maybe make an exception for like online games or something where they don't want you to quote unquote cheat or whatever. But otherwise, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why Nintendo hasn't stepped in and cleared this up. I don't know why they didn't immediately make sure that all of this information was up to date. I don't know. Is there some reason why they're not sure yet or something? I don't see why that would be the case. Is there some sort of issue? See, I can't even. Why would there be an issue? It's cloud saves. It's a standard thing. It's just a packet of information. But I guess the point I'm trying to make here is, if it is true that any of these games end up not supporting cloud saves, you know, even if it's just Tears of the Kingdom, then like, I don't know, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't necessarily mean that Nintendo is doing away with cloud saves. No Switch 2 games will use cloud saves ever again. I'm not willing to go that far. However, it is always, you do have to recognize when a precedent has been set. And even one game, even if it was just Tears of the Kingdom, if that game didn't support cloud saves for any reason that anyone could possibly figure out, it does set a precedent. It does mean that this idea of games randomly not supporting cloud saves is like, it's on the table now. So I can see that. I can see that even if it's one game, there are some longer term implications there, because then we never really know when it's gonna strike next. You know, it's one of those things where it would be nice to go into next gen not having another little thing to worry about. You know what I mean? Another random little problem that just doesn't seem to make sense, but it's something that we just kind of have to live with. I don't know. At this point, let's just wait. There's gotta be a resolution to this that comes eventually, I imagine. Again, hopefully Nintendo will just like give a statement or something and make sure that all the information on the websites is all up to date and you can do cloud saves on DK Bonanza and all that good stuff.